channel, Conversations with Ezra. I'm Allegra,
And I'm John.
and today's video will be titled The True Essence of Success Aligning Desire and Action.
What if success isn't about what you achieve, but how you align with it? Success is not just about the outcome, it's about the energy behind the desire and the alignment of action. Let's explore what that really means.
So, we'll present a tidbit from Ezra. That is actually what this video is based upon. Okay, so this is what they had to say. Success is not about the thing you are witnessing. It is about the forming of a desire, implementing an aligned action, and watching the combination of both manifest into something that is pleasing. Ezra. So,
So let's break it down. There's three elements that we're going to be talking about. Forming a desire,
yep,
which is the spark of inspiration, what calls you forward.
yes. And then we have the implementing of the aligned action, which is acting from a place of vibrational harmony and not force.
And finally, we have manifesting the outcome, which is recognizing success as a joyful unfolding, not just a final result.
Yes.
All right. So Allegra is going to give us a little real life example about her business.
Yes. So I like to use this as a way of showing what it means to do aligned action. So, for those of you who do not know, some of you may know, I am a former cosmetic formulator. So, skincare formulator, actually. So, at the time of COVID, I had another business going. And because of the restrictions on that business, in terms of, you guys know, what,
Yeah.
what we could and couldn't do at that time, I had to find another way to make money. So, I decided I wanted to do skincare. Now, at the time, I had no idea what doing skincare was about. Making bath and body products. I wanted a combination of both. So I wanted to do skincare because I couldn't go out and get my stuff at that time because of, again, restrictions. And then I wanted to do bath and body products because it was an essential service and they wouldn't close me down. So, uh, didn't know what I was doing. So I put it out there that I had this desire. I put it out there to the universe. I'm like, you know what, this is what I would really, really like to do. And I listed the reasons why I wanted to do this, which to me was important because I didn't, again, want to have something that I would be investing money into. And then because of all these restrictions, we had no idea what was happening at the time, that this business would close before it even started. So I put the intention out to have something that would be able to actually sustain us during COVID, not get shut down, and even after COVID, continue the growth, whatever that looked like. So as time went on, one of the things that I used to do was I would sit and I would try to envision, okay, what's the next step to this? So I put the desire out. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted this business. I even had an outcome of where I wanted the business to end up. But in between from the desire starting it and the outcome, there was a big space in the middle. And that big space was I had no idea what to do. So I needed to learn all of this from scratch. I didn't have a mentor. And I needed to figure out how to get customers in this particular type of sector. So, of course, I'm learning. I signed up for courses, I did my training, I all of this stuff, and then I opened up the store. And one of the things that John can tell you is during this I had some frustrating times. Very yeah, but even throughout those frustrating times, I kept with my desire. I kept envisioning what that desire was at the beginning, what I really wanted to see materialize. So I kept on, and even though I got frustrated with some of my actions, I never got frustrated with the desire in and of itself. I never actually said to myself, well, I can't do this. This is stupid. I don't know why I decided to do this. It was always, oh my goodness, I'm making a mistake. I got to figure out how to do this because I still want to do this thing. So it wasn't throwing the desire out with everything else that I didn't like around the action that I was doing. I kept that desire. So fast forward a little bit. Now the store is up and running. I was able to learn how to do things. and I've got this storefront with all these wonderful products. And I remember, and I even do it up until this day with things that I have around me. I would walk around my store when it was closed. I would close the doors, I would shut the light off, and I would just walk around the store and I would talk to my store. And I would say to it, tell me what else you need. What else can I put in? Literally, those were the words that I would say, right? And I would look at certain products and I would talk to the products and ask it, well, do you think there could be a little tweaking? You think the customers like it? But what I was doing, and I didn't realize what I was doing, was I was getting myself in alignment. And the alignment was not just with the products and the store that I had, I was getting myself in alignment with the success that had already come at that point, and I
Mm-hmm.
was getting myself in alignment with the other actions that I wanted to take. But I was also getting in alignment with the universe and the messages that was being sent back to me on steps that I can take. Now, did I remember everything that I got? No. But it would come back to me in pieces as time went by, and then I would make another product, and I'd get the inspiration to do another thing, and then I'd get the inspiration to promote a sale or whatever it is. But it came back because I kept myself in alignment with that dream to the point where this business got really successful, was known, and I ended up selling it, get passing it on and selling it to someone else. And but I didn't, when it was time to let go of that. It still wasn't. Oh, look what I've gone. My business was successful. It was all about the journey towards that point and
Exactly.
getting to that point. So that's what I have to say, a real life example of how the desire and the aligned action married, combined with each other to get from point A to point B. So
Yeah, most people would think that the success was the selling of the business, but it
yes.
actually wasn't. It was the journey. Like
Yeah.
there were so many successes
Yep.
along the way.
Along the way.
It wasn't that final result. It was that.
Right.
It was that
It,
ending point.
ending point. Like one
Right.
of the success that I had and I really like was I learned to make soaps from scratch. And that was huge for me. I messed up so many times, but wasted so much material. But I eventually got to the point where I could make soaps in my sleep. And to me, that was a huge success. You would think it's because of the store again, but it wasn't. I implemented a learning module and I learned and I was successful at that. Then I learned to make body products and I got successful at making those. And so again, the word success. And then I branched out into the more intricate part of skincare, and that was making skincare for mature skin and others. But the skincare line, learning to make facial products and hair products.
Mhm.
And that it was the journey from knowing that that was the next thing to nailing the next thing. That in that little niche right there to me was success.
Mhm.
It had nothing to do with the business overall. It was all the little successes that I had along the way that led up to this huge success of the business overall. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a break here for a minute, and then we're gonna be back.
Okay, we're back. We had to switch out our battery. It died. So, all
So
right. So, John's going to get into his portion of this.
So my example is relationships. Now I've
Yes.
talked about relationships on another video as well, but the the whole idea of like the relationships before I met my wife, that there was a whole journey involved in that as well, and I can't think of them as all failures. They weren't all failures. There was just part of the journey, and it was a
Journey.
wonderful
Yeah.
journey. I enjoyed it all. So it wasn't just about ending up married to this beautiful woman. There was things that before that, the journey before that, and that was sifting and sorting. I had relationships before I got into recovery. I'm in recovery from alcoholism, and before I got into recovery, I had many relationships,
Yeah.
including a marriage before, and I had quite a few relationships once I got past before Allegra. So it was all part of the journey. It wasn't just all those
No.
individual ones. That none of them were failures. They
No.
were just part of the
Part of the
journey.
journey. Yeah.
And by but when we got to where Allegra and I met, and we talked about this in another video as well on relationships, it was both of us had actually taken the time. in very short order,
Yeah.
like not too far. Might have been at the same time. Who
Who
knows?
knows?
But we both had this. Were given this idea from the universe. Mine was from a friend. Was to put down on paper what we were looking for, right,
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, and we put those down. I put mine down and I burnt it. I threw it. I was going to tear it up, and then instead I just set it on fire and burnt it. But it was all those things I was looking for in a relationship, and I still didn't land in at Allegra's front door right away. There was still part of the journey before, and that was part of the sifting and sorting. But it was I wouldn't change any of the journey until I got to Allegra's front door, where and there's successes all the way along, right?
Well, you learned something from each of those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I didn't want,
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. So the
So
desire just kept building for something more.
for something more.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the journey. It wasn't just okay. I'm miserable
Um,
all the way
yep,
until I met you, although you're
exactly.
wonderful. But the fact is, it was the journey along the way. And then
Yeah.
when I met Allegra and I started thinking back to everything I'd written down, well, now all of a sudden, there we go. And now she started, it's like she took that piece of paper out of the universe and said, here I am. So
Yeah.
it was about the journey,
Yeah.
not just the end result.
Yeah.
And we're still on a journey in
We're still,
relationships.
yeah, we're
So
still carving
nothing,
out our successes
not,
as we go along. So,
yeah, so
yeah,
nothing's going to change there.
that's right. And you've got my mouse.
All right. So now we're going to bring Ezra to the forefront.
We are here.
Welcome back.
Good to be back.
Yeah. So today we're doing a video for our viewers with regards to the tidbit of inspiration that you sent us today, and the core concept of success. So we got a number of questions, Ezra, around success, and we're hoping to get your a clear perspective on that.
Very well.
So, how do you define success from an energetic perspective?
The alignment and joy that you feel from moment to moment as you see your desires come to fruition. And that energetic aspect is the joyful alignment with each aspect of that journey. Another asking,
So, why do people often believe success is about the outcome rather than the success? The process, I mean. The process, not success.
they have been trained to look at the end results of everything, meaning that as humans, you all have a tendency to look at the thing that is materialized and not at the alignment and energetic unfolding of the thing that is materializing. So, in that aspect, most of you believe that success is about the things that has already come to fruition. Another asking,
So, how does our relationship with success shift when we focus on alignment rather than results?
it becomes an easier path to the manifestation of the desire. The alignment in the energy of creating and moving from a place of that alignment into action becomes more of an in tuned or tuning in of vibration as you move forward. And in that particular energetic output, there's usually is an element of joy, an element of satisfaction as you see each component falling into place. It's like doing a puzzle. Each piece of the puzzle, as it is being put into place, there is a sense of satisfaction, a sense of a job well done, and then the whole puzzle comes into alignment, and that is where that it's a culmination of the successes along the way. Another asking.
So we're going to move on to desire and manifestation. And so the next question is, how can we tell the difference between a true aligned desire and one that comes from societal pressure or fear? How do you tell the difference between those?
Usually, an aligned desire feels easy. It feels as if it is the next logical step, the next evolution of a journey that you have put yourself on. And one that is from societal pressures usually tend to have a lot of moving components that does not feel as if it's easy. It does not feel as if it is confusing in the decision making. Clarity usually seems to be more on the aligned side when you've got the aligned desire. And usually there seems to be hesitation and stuff from the other side of that moving of the desire. Another asking.
So where does society's pressure come in?
Society's pressure comes in usually when there is a paying attention to what everyone else is doing rather than paying attention to the way you feel and looking at what comes to fruition as you move in a place of that higher frequency of alignment in your journey towards acquiring and manifesting that desire. So, if you are in the process of moving towards an outcome, and at each step of the way, when a decision is made, you are paying attention to how good that feels in the making of the decision and seeing pieces of the puzzles fall into place. With that sense of ease and flow and joy around those actions, that is usually your aligned desire moving into manifestation. But societal pressures can come from others with their idea of the way that your desires should move forward. And sometimes their ideas fall specifically into the categories of that satisfying action that you are taking. So it's not necessarily that the societal influence are usually negative, but there are some that are. It pulls you away from that aligned, pure desire instinct that you may have. And that might come in the form, again, as we say, others wanting to do it in a way that it profits them only, but and not a nice balance of give and take. It could be from just not simply sitting back and understanding that the power to make the decisions towards your desire is in your hands. So you leave it to someone else to make those decisions for you and such. Another asking.
So when you're talking about aligned desire, if fear comes into into the play into play, that means you're out of alignment. Is that correct?
Yes, and usually it just means that there is a misunderstanding of how things work. So that fear shows up in the sense, or that misunderstanding shows up as fear. It shows up as a bit of confusion and indecisiveness. But once there is an understanding and a paying attention to the emotions behind the decisions, then as this is something that is done more often, the individual tends to become more sure in their decision making. Understood?
Understood.
Yes, so and in that surety, the desire seems to come about faster. The implementing of the manifestation of the desires comes about a lot faster. There is less work, and then that is a time when others may deem that individual as being lucky But that luck is from being in alignment and the universe understanding that, this particular individual is in a space of receiving everything that is needed to do this particular thing. And they just keep yielding and yielding and yielding because the individual is unwavering in their attention to what is working and what is not. Another asking.
So I think you've touched on this a little bit. I just want some clarity around what role does emotion play in forming a powerful desire?
Usually, a powerful desire is born from the emotion of wanting or not wanting. So, as you go about your day to day lives, there are things that you experience that causes an emotional reaction. And from that emotional reaction, you can then tell yourselves, this is something that I would like to experience more of, or something that I would not like to have in your reality. So, when that distinction is made based on the emotion that a particular situation evokes from you, then that desire is born. So, if you are wanting money and you do not have enough money, and you are observing a situation where you would like to have more money, then that emotion of being frustrated, of probably being angry, or probably being sad that there isn't enough, there is a flip side to that of that desire being born of wanting more. Understood?
Understood. Okay. Can a desire evolve or change as we align with it?
Definitely. For as you are sorting and sifting and going about with the aligned action, sometimes you may find that, yes, the desire may change, may stay somewhat the same, but in order to get the manifestation, there may need to be a tweaking somewhere in the middle between the desire and the manifestation. Some humans will hold themselves to a particular action even though they're not seeing the results that they would like to have. And as they hold themselves to that particular action, they are not wanting to allow the universe to tweak the direction in which the desire may go in order to get the answers, to sort things out. And so they remain stuck. And as they remain stuck, they deem themselves a failure. Whereas if they would pay attention to, yes, I would like to have more money, but at this particular point where I have moved towards, I have manifested X, Y, and Z dollars more than I had, but not quite as much as I would like to have. And from that point of having just a little more, instead of saying to themselves, okay, so I need just a little bit more, I'd like to have a little bit more of this thing, I'm going to allow the universe to show me the next direction and stay, what we would say, alert to what the universe is sending their way in order to move to the next phase. Some humans will sit in that having of just a little bit more and deem it as all that they can have, not trusting that they can shift the desire or shift the becoming of the desire into fruition a little bit, the actions along with that, and still move towards having more money. They become short sighted, if you will. They, at the beginning of the desire forming, they made a plan. And with that plan, there was no room for the evolution of aligned action. So, in that plan from A to B, they've decided that one course of action only is the way to get to the manifestation. Whereas the universe, in its infinite power, has many, many, many different actions that can be taken, many, many different clues, many, many different ideas that can be implemented to get you from point A to point B. Understood?
Understood.
Very well. Another asking.
You know what? It's a lot of information in a very short period of time. I think that's a great session today. Thank you so much for your input and your insight.
Very welcome. We appreciate the opportunity. Good day.
Okay. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
So one of the interesting things that came up about when we were talking with Ezra is a lot of times we get these really good aligned ideas, and instead of keeping them to ourselves or in between ourselves, if we say
Yes.
something to other people,
Yeah.
they, that's where the societal and that pressure from other people who don't see it the way we see it, all of a sudden we're excited, we're pumped about an idea,
And
and
you
we
see that it will work.
yeah, and but then as soon as you got it coming in this year from somebody you don't like, you respect, but all of a sudden you tell them that idea, and they go, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'll never work."
That
Or
will never work.
how are you gonna make a
Or
living doing
that's
that?
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Or really, that's the way you're going to do it because everybody else is doing this. And what makes you think that that will work that way if you do that? Like, you really need to do it this way. That's the way it's done. We've done that for generations. That's the type of stuff that comes about. So,
Mhm.
oh yeah, we've seen those.
Well, and I'm a work in progress. Sometimes I still say things whereas if I would have kept it to myself, I wouldn't have brought that other um, negativity, if you want to say,
Yeah.
into my ears. Where if I'd have just kept to myself, and I'm learning.
Yeah, you're learning.
I'm a work in
I
progress.
know, and sometimes the best advice comes from the ones that are closest to us, whether that's friends, family, whatever, it doesn't matter, colleagues. And it's not that they're not well intentioned. It is well intentioned. They want to see you, some of them, hopefully, succeed
Yeah.
with whatever you've decided to take on. But, and there is a but, and that but is only you knows what the universe is yielding to you at any given time. And the reason why I say that is because there are times I've had conversations with Ezra in my mind around certain things, and as John said, they give us a clear path. Like, it's there. They lay it out. There it is. And then a day or two after, I go out there and I get waylaid by something someone else was doing. And it's like, but that's the way they got their success. Why can't I do it that way? Yeah, sure, you can do it that way. But are you in alignment with their path, with how they did it? It's alignment. You may be in alignment with something else. Your energy may be lining up with a completely different way that person might look and say, huh, never thought about doing it that way. Maybe I'll try it your way. So, but we get caught up in what others have done. Some of it is because we're impatient. We want to kind of get to it fast.
Hmm.
Some of it is because we really don't know. Some of it is because we have been used to listening to the other people around us that don't know. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that can get us moving in in the other direction of where we actually want to be.
Well,
So,
in my journey, what I have to work on still is Allegra will laugh at this one, but I'm a pros and cons guy. And
you
Ezra,
and Ezra had some really fun times around pros and
yeah,
cons.
we always have that because they'll give me a wonderful idea, and I'll get all excited about it, and I'll tell Allegra about it, and then Allegra will hear me just, what about this? What about that? And
Yep,
she
he
goes, oh my
starts
God,
weighing the pros and
we're
cons.
weighing the
So
pros
if
and
we
cons
do
again.
this, if we don't do that, and maybe we should. And I know Ezra said we should do this, but remember this.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so why did you have the conversation with Ezra if you knew what you wanted to do,
Oh, and I don't know
right?
what I want to do, but it's a habitual thing that I'm sure a lot of you can really identify with. You come up with a great idea, and then right away your brain starts looking at the things that could go wrong
Yeah.
instead of
Yes.
just focusing on that exciting
Yeah.
feeling and running with it.
Yeah.
So,
So what we want to do, and what I would like to say here is that, um, as I'm channeling Ezra, especially on this particular segment, is the message that they want out there is not everyone's path is lined up to be the same. You might have the same desired outcome, but from A to B, getting to there, so many different
yeah.
things along getting there. You get the same thing. There may be 10 others who are getting the exact same thing that you are wanting, but yours path is different, just like 9 of those others have a different path, but they get there. You see them at the finish line.
Hmm.
So the idea is to pay attention to your different path
And how it
and
feels.
how it feels. It's laid out for
Mm-hmm.
you. It's it already. And each time you pick up a breadcrumb along the trail, enjoy that breadcrumb.
Yeah.
It's not about, oh, I'll enjoy the breadcrumb when I get here. I'll just gather it all, and when I get here, you enjoy the all the crumbs together. It's each breadcrumb, each trail, each piece on the trail is to enjoy it. And as you enjoy each piece on the trail, the breadcrumbs become bigger. That's what I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that another one comes and it's a lot bigger. It's a bigger idea. It's a bigger payoff. It's a bigger moment of, oh my goodness, this is so good. The satisfaction of it is, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you get to here. And it's like, oh my. So that's more or less what the vibration that I was getting in terms of the energy transfer
Mm-hmm.
when they were coming through today on this. So please enjoy your breadcrumbs along the way.
Yeah.
Look for that trail that is yours and ask, because it is given. So when you ask for the direction to get to where you want to be, you can almost guarantee, or it is guaranteed, not almost, but it is guaranteed that there is an answer for you on how to get there. So follow it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And just focus on the positive emotions as opposed to
Positive emotions.
John who goes to the cons.
The cons all
We're
the
working on
time.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you guys for listening. We will connect with you guys again at some point. And please subscribe, like, share, comment. Let us know what you think of this video or others. It doesn't matter which one. Just send your comments in there if you've got questions. Also, leave it in the comments below. We will get to you on that as well. If you don't want to leave your questions in the comments, you can email us at Ezrah, Ezrah dot DEEN, Dean, at gmail.com. That is also in the comment below. So you can just shoot us an email and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you would like, whether it's on the videos that we're recording, or we can just email back an answer to you guys. Okay?
And just a quick thing.
Yes.
Coming soon, the ebook
Yes.
that Ezrah and Allegra have written.
Just to have a look. There it is.
It's
So
coming
we'll
soon.
let you know when that link is also up and is available. It's coming very soon. So again, have a good day. Line up with your breadcrumbs and enjoy the trail.
See you soon.
See you guys soon.